Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. If I told you what I was doing for the last 2 hours, you would be hard pressed. You would be hard pressed to believe me. But I'm going to take off my glasses because I don't need my glasses to tell you the truth. Okay, so number one, um, as stated in the title, we'll get the title out of the way first. We have some good things, good things, good things to talk about. Some of the stores I found or went to yesterday are just great stores to go to and to work with the people in the stores. I found this really cool store in the Galleria Mall. It's right across from where I get my shoes repaired. It's an amazing little store. I've walked past it 100 times, but never went inside. And they were the one store in all of Bohol that had a really a good medium to high quality case for my Samsung S21 Ultra camera. So I was very happy about that. And my shoes, what a great job they did repairing my shoes at a store called iFix. iFix It? iFix It. I'll show you the receipt. What a great store. But immediately after I left those two great stores in the Galleria Mall, then I went to my bank. This is a bad story. It's a very bad thing I'm going to talk about right now. I don't know where to begin. I could tell you that I am not a corporate executive in America. You would probably believe that. But I do understand how business and commerce is expected to be run to some degree. I understand that because each time I changed the type of construction license that I had. Hey, Dennis, thank you. Thank you very much for your observations and those comments that you made me aware of. They just showed up about 10 minutes ago. So digressing back to the bank. I'm not a bank executive, but I will tell you that the way they run banks here in the Philippines is just very disturbing. I'm not a corporate executive, but I will tell you that if you took the bank I'm going to talk about today, or a bank that I did do business with, because now I have three different accounts in the Philippines. I'm not happy with any of the service I've gotten from any of those accounts at all, ever. But we're going to concentrate. We're going to focus on just one bank, and that would be the RCBC Bank. RCBC Bank. And what happened to them and how they were put under lockdown, LOCKDOWN, which is no fault of their own. However, what they did thereafter is the onus lays entirely on the executive management, which does not exist in RCBC's banking facility from my point of view. From their executive point of view and their executive decisions that they did or did not make, I now am looking for a third bank to do business with. Even though yesterday I had to work with the RCBC Bank, I got a runaround. I got lied to when I started the account. I got bamboozled, hoodwinked, so to speak. That's what happened to me. Because some of the things that they said was simply not true. And what happened to them this week because of an employee getting something called the COVID virus cost me a lot of money and a lot of time for no good reason. So here's what we're going to do right now. I will tell you that today is Wednesday. I don't know. April. It's already April. Oh my God. No, it's 3/31, March 31st. I will tell you that ASAP, I am taking out more than 500,000 pesos from one of my bank accounts and putting it into another bank account, a different bank altogether. That's more than quite a bit more than 500,000 pesos. Because of an employee of the bank got COVID virus, which would have been 2 weeks and 2 days ago. Or no, 2 weeks and 4 days ago. Because I guess they got it on a Friday. So figure 18 days, 19 days ago, an employee got COVID. So I went to the bank on Monday of, all right, so we are looking at March 15th. March 15th. I went to the bank Monday of March 15th. And I got there about 10 minutes to 9, and there was a man putting stickers on the window of the bank saying that this bank, this building, because it's 5 stories high, is closed because somebody in the facility, I think it was the bank, but the whole building was closed. But the bank was closed because someone got COVID. It did not give you a possible opening date. It did not give you an option for a phone number to call. It did not give you an email address to email. It did not give you any information other than the bank. This bank is closed. Okay. So I figured, well, how long could it be closed? A couple of days till they spray it? No. So I went back on Wednesday. I had to go to Build-A-Ware. It's right next door to Build-A-Ware in Tagbilaran City. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't do business with this bank. You'll be, if this ever happens again, you'll be in the same position that I was in. Okay, so I went back on, I think it was a Wednesday, the bank was still closed. So I said, well, I'll use my debit card. Well, apparently because I never used it or I've had an account in this bank for 5 years. Apparently because I didn't use it, it locked me out. Now, why did it lock me out? Well, what we came to the conclusion of course it was my fault. Of course it was my fault. Couldn't be the bank's fault. Couldn't be the way they reprogrammed their computer. Could not be that. It was my fault that I couldn't use my card. Well, for 5 years, anytime I've ever used a bank card or a credit card or a debit card, anytime, ever, no matter what ATM I went to, when I took money, I took it from my current, C-U-R-R-E-N-T, current account. Current. Well, I haven't used that debit card since long before Daisy left. That's going on a year and a half, more than a year and a half. Because there was another branch. There used to be 2 branches. That branch closed down. Now it's a new bank, a different bank. which maybe I'll be doing business with next week. Okay, so the point. So I went to the bank to withdraw money. I needed money to do business in the Philippines. I wanted to buy a phone, the Samsung S21 phone, which was a mistake, by the way. We have been back to that store 3 times. They've reprogrammed it 3 times, and 3 times the next day something else pops up. As we speak, there are people working, the so-called technician and the sales girl. They're very helpful. Well, that's their job, isn't it? Well, they've been working on it since 9:30 to fix the problem, and they can't figure it out. They sell the phone. They are the only persons to ever update the phone, and they are the only persons to ever put a new application in the phone. But they can't figure it out. Digressing back to the bank. So 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I started, there were 2 branches with the RCBC bank. Well, they closed one down about a year and a half ago, which is not a problem because they had another branch right next to Build-A-Ware. When I go there 2 or 3 times a month, Build-A-Ware. So I said, okay, so I want to use my debit card, and it locked me out, but I don't know why. So after several tries, it just would not take the code anymore. Oh, by the way, I had the proper code. But I always use current. Well, apparently, current is not the word to use anymore. Apparently, savings is the word. However, with all my other credit cards and debit cards, current is what I use. So we changed my debit card code, which took 45 minutes of paperwork and a person working on the computer to get that done. And then I withdrew money and it worked. But now we got to get back to the problem with the bank itself. So 18 days ago, the bank had a COVID case and they closed the bank. They closed it with no possible opening date or probable opening date, nothing. So I called the bank, no answer on the phone. Now I called the bank every few days for 2 solid weeks. So on Thursday of last week, I said, I have had to use my credit card twice, and it cost me $21 for each time I take money out of the bank. This is crazy. Let me call up a bank in Cebu and ask them when this bank is going to open. So they gave me a probable date of Monday, March 29th, I guess it was. March 29th. And it opened on March 29th, except that when I called on March 29th, the phone was so jammed up, you couldn't get a phone call through. From 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock, I just pressed redial whenever I was in the house. So, number one, a huge banking corporation named RCBC had a phone that you couldn't get through to. Number two, for 2 weeks that the bank was closed, there was no message on the bank's phone number. They did not pass the calls onto a call center. They didn't answer the phone. And if you went to their website, there was no message on their website. That was 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, the bank was just closed. No one knew if the bank was still in business or not. So when I went into the bank yesterday and I said, you people, you just shut your bank down. Yes, sir, COVID. I said, I don't want to hear COVID. COVID is fine, but you didn't leave a notice that the bank was going to be closed. Yes, sir. What do you mean, yes, sir? What do you mean, yes, sir? Yes, sir. We did. Where did you leave a notice? we left it on Facebook. I said, well, I don't even go to Facebook. She goes, sir, if you wanted to know if the bank was open, you could have gone to Facebook. I said, didn't I just tell you I don't use Facebook? Yes, sir, but that's how you would know. And I'm going, you're not listening. I don't use Facebook. Why didn't you send us an email or text on our phone? You have my phone number, right? Yes, yes, sir. Why didn't you send out a text? Well, we left a message on Facebook, sir. I said, I'm going to tell you what, because you said it enough times that I heard it and I understood it, here's what I'm going to do. If you say the word Facebook again at any time between now and the time I leave this bank, I'm going to look for a new bank. So she said, sir, all you had to do was go to Facebook. I said, okay, I got it now. We're going to start a new bank account. Okay, so now let's do my banking for today. Here's a check for X amount of thousands of dollars, and I want to deposit it, which I wanted to do 2 weeks ago. So let's do that. So there's a form that you have to fill out. You have to give them your name as it appears on your bank book. You have to make the check out to yourself. You have to put the amount in written format and digits. And then you have to write the name of the bank that it's coming from for a question that's on a separate form that's about 5 inches high by 7 inches long. But if you spent the rest of your living life trying to figure out what that question was, you would never come. You would never you would never understand what the answer to the question was. The answer to the question was the bank that the money is coming from. But the way the question was posed, maybe if you were a bank executive, you'd understand the words, but to a layman, no. So if you fill that form out and you just make one error, one letter, where you correct the letter, no, you got to start again. So I had to have the woman sit next to me while I filled out that form, because I didn't know what the questions were on the form. It was mostly about the bank, but it was in the backwards way that Philippines questions and paperwork is done. I don't remember what the word was, but I remember that it was the name of my bank in America. You would never come to that conclusion unless you were a banking, understanding banking words. Anyway, so now I give them the check. She shows me the bank book with the money in it, and we're just going to use a round number. So what was in the bank was my money plus a $500 bond that you have to keep in the bank. So let's just say that those two numbers added up to $1,000. Considerable amount more, but let's just say it added up to $1,000. Okay? I said to the lady, so with the new money, which is meant much more than $1,000, can I take out $1,000? Yes, sir. What about the initial $500 US dollar account that you had to put to make the account? You have to keep a certain amount of money in the bank. She said you can take that out because the new money is now counted as part of your bank account. Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't need that money bad enough to take out the $500. But she was not sure. That's my point. She was winging it. She was winging it on the side of, sure, you can take your money out, And then, of course, I said to her, but if I take that whole $1,000 out, well, I have to pay a penalty because it went underneath the $500 because the new money isn't in your bank yet. No, sir, no penalty. But she was lying. I don't think she knew the answer to that question. She might have given me the right answer, but I don't think she knew the answer to the question. She was just trying to make me happy. Okay, so I said to her, now tell me why you didn't leave a note on your website that you're not going to be open. Well, we left it on Facebook, sir. I said, so what are you telling me? What you are telling me, in a calm voice, what you're telling me is that you believe that a person that decides to come to your bank in Bohol and they wake up, they take a shower, or have breakfast, and they get dressed, and then they get into a car, a jeepney, a motorcycle, or a tricycle, and they travel to your bank for 1 hour or 1.5 hours, and they get to your door to find out that your bank is closed, and they go home because they don't have any, they only came to the city to go to your bank. You think that's acceptable? Sir, we left a message on Facebook. I said, how many people came to your bank? 5,000 or 6,000 people in the last 2 weeks? Is that possible? So she said yes. So you think that 5,000 or 6,000 people are going to check Facebook before they go to their bank account, before they go to the bank to find out if the bank is open because the bank was closed due to COVID and they didn't hear anything about it? Was there a notice in the newspaper? Was there an email? Was there a text sent out? No, none of the above. None of the above. No text was sent to our phones. No emails were sent to our email addresses. So now, if I wanted to go to the bank that I don't use Facebook, I should go look in Facebook to see if the bank is open. Well, we know that the bank is open Monday through Friday. If there's no holidays, it should be open, yeah? Of course it should be. So she said, well, sir, we left a message on Facebook. I said, you're assuming that people go to Facebook before they wake up and go to Facebook and they look at your bank. Yes, sir. So how crazy is that? It's crazy. Sir, we left a message on Facebook. Why do you keep saying that to me? Why? Why do you keep saying it? You're justifying absolute disrespect for 6,000 customers or 50,000 customers. I don't know how many customers in your bank. You are showing no respect. You demand an email address and you demand a phone number to start a bank account, but you sent notices to no one through the emails or the phone numbers. So we left a message on Facebook. Again, I'm going, why do you keep saying that? Okay, so I said to them, now there were two ladies, on and off, there was the two managers, let's say, or one manager. Well, the manager supposedly is a man. I spoke with him on the phone, but I don't know that he was ever there yesterday. Or I don't know if he was listening to the conversation. I didn't. He didn't introduce himself, and I didn't ask for him because I always have done business with these same two ladies. So the other lady came over and said, same thing. We left a message on Facebook. So, well, how does that compensate? How many? Well, let's just say 3,000 people came to the city to go to your bank last week. And let's say 2,000 only wanted to go to the bank. How does that compensate 2,000 people for the gasoline, the insurance, the possible fact that they may have gotten into an automobile accident? Maybe they got a parking ticket. Maybe they got a flat. How does that justify 2,000 people waking up, taking a shower, and going to your bank? I heard nothing. I didn't even hear crickets. There was no answer. And there was no answer because they knew they were wrong. They knew that. So I said, here's what I'm going to do. We have my new check. I got my money from the ATM, from the debit card. We made that work. Thank you. We got the check. When that check clears, probably before that, but when that check clears, I am going to hopefully long. That check is going to take. The last check took 33 days to clear. That's normal. That was actually a good amount of time. They told me 30 business days, and it was 33 days total. So I'm very happy about that. It was within a normal parameter. All banks have a 30-day waiting period. So that was okay. So I said, long before the check clears, I'm going to start another bank account in another bank. And that's when things turned a little bit dark. Not on my behalf, on their behalf. Their faces kind of drooped down, and the second lady came over and said, but sir, why do you want to do that? I said, well, let me tell you why. Number one, did you send out a notice to my email address? Sir, it's on Facebook. Again, Facebook. Did you send out an email to your customers? No, sir, we put it on Facebook. Again, Facebook. Okay, let's just go out on a limb here and say that tomorrow, somebody that signed the registrar before you enter the bank, you sign your name and, they take your temperature. Somebody on the registrar comes down with COVID. It's possible, right? She said, yeah. I says, and they close your bank again for 2 weeks. Sir, what's the problem? I said, well, the problem is because your system locked me out of my debit card, that I had to use my credit card, and it cost me $21.50 for each withdrawal. Will you be responsible for that $44? No, sir. We cannot do that. I said, well, you keep saying you're sorry. Yes, sir, we are sorry. I said, well, then reimburse me for my $44. We cannot do that, sir. I says, okay. All right, I understand banking policy. That's okay. But the fact is that you have one branch, one bank. One branch and one bank. That's a fact, right? You used to have two, right? Yes, sir. But now you have one. So somebody that walked into your building or worked here, we don't know which, caused the bank to close down for 2 weeks. What if it happens again tomorrow? Sir, you'll be able to use your debit card. There you go again. Are you going to notify people by email or by telephone or text? So we'll leave a message on Facebook. They just refuse. They're like robots. They're like programmed robots. Instead of learning that people get upset about that, so now I said, how many people have complained that you closed the bank without any notification by email or text, and have came to the bank and got dressed and was in the car and took a shower and drove to the city and paid to park their car? How many people have complained? And here it is, the moment you have all been waiting for. Only you, sir. Only you. I says, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe that. Why would I believe that? Out of 3,000 people, I'm the only person that called up on the phone or came to the bank and complained? Yes, sir. Okay. All right, let's say that's true. I can still remove all my money next month, right? So I'm allowed to do that? She goes, sir, we don't want you to do that. I says, I tell you what. Go get the manager. Oh, I knew his name, but I didn't say his name. Go get the manager and tell him to withdraw $44 from the bank to compensate me that I had to use my debit card. My credit card to get maximum 10,000 pesos per transaction. So I had to use it twice to get 20,000 pesos. So we cannot give you a refund. I said, well, then what do you suggest I should have done if my debit card didn't work? Here it is. The moment you have been waiting for, number two. Number two. Sir, you could have gone... sir, you could have gone to Cebu to do your banking. I said, excuse me? Excuse me? Excuse me? You want me to wake up and... Well, this is what you'd have to do to go to Cebu, to do your banking. I've used their bank in Cebu when I got my equipment from America. Remember, I had to buy the container and pay the shipping company and all the shipping broker and stuff like that. I had hundreds of thousands of pesos I took out of the bank in Cebu. It works just fine. Here's the problem. You have to go to Cebu to use the bank for their branch. And how much does it cost to get to Cebu? About 1,000 pesos. And a tricycle in the morning at 300, 350, because at 5 o'clock in the morning, they charge you extra. And then you're probably going to take a tricycle when you get home at night, because you get home about 6, you take the 6 o'clock ferry from Cebu, you get home at 8 o'clock, you got to take a tricycle anyway. So now you have 1,600 in pesos for a tricycle and the ferry ride, and you have to buy lunch and maybe breakfast or dinner or whatever you have to do, and you have to pay for transportation to get to the RCBC Bank, which is right near the J Mall. Right at the corner of the J Mall, you're going to see a Jollibee's, a big Jollibee's right on the corner. You walk out of the J Mall, look straight outside, go to the left. On the corner is a Jollibee's, and across the street from the Jollibee's, one door in, is the RCBC Bank. So to get there, it would cost about 1,600 pesos, 130 pesos for the cab ride there and back. So that's 1,900 pesos. Figure 400 pesos for lunch. That's 2,300 pesos. And you have to leave at 5:30 in the morning, and you get back at 8 o'clock at night. And that bank will give you whatever you want if you want money. So to go there, it will cost me 2,400 pesos to get 20,000 pesos. Or to use my credit card, it takes 2 minutes to get 20,000 pesos. But to go to the other way takes 16 hours of busting your ass, taking cabs, dealing with traffic. Oh, and the RCBC Bank in that branch, they charge you, I don't know, 3 years ago, it was an additional 50 pesos per transaction. So whatever your transactions, well, one time I took out 100,000 pesos, it was 50 pesos, and another time I think I took out 52,000 pesos, and it was 50 pesos. So they charge you 50 pesos per transaction. So you're looking at 3,000 pesos to go get 20,000 pesos and 16 hours. Or you can just use your debit card, my American credit card debit card, and pay 2,200 pesos. I mean, 1,000. Was it 1,000? It's $22, $21.50. Or you could do it like that, and it just takes 2 minutes. So 2 minutes for 20,000 pesos, or 16 hours, and 2,500 pesos. Same thing. Well, more, another 500 pesos, and 16 hours of your time. Plus, you got to bust your ass, and you could get stuck in a hurricane or typhoon, and you have to get a hotel because they shut the ferries down. But that was her solution. Her solution was to send me to Cebu to get money instead of using my debit card. I said, you see how you You're not answering any of my questions with anything that the corporate world would accept. If you answered these questions in a real business environment, in the real corporate world, they would dismiss you as a non-entity to do no more business with, because you haven't given a viable, truthful, honest, encouraging, positive answer. You people should have sent out a text to every person in your bank. You should have sent out an email, a mass. They didn't do that. So that's the end of topic number one. Now, somebody said, don't say Facebook again. Let's see who said that. Dennis Adam. How many times did they say it? I got sick myself listening to that. Now, Dennis, thank you. We have a big shout out and a big thank you for Dennis Adam. Now, I'm going to turn the camera around. And, of course, I used a shoe for my icon today, because my shoes are going to do the walking to another bank. Like, remember that old Yellow Page ad? Let your fingers do the walking. I am walking up and down the strip to find another bank. Now, I could use the original bank. Here's the problem with the original bank, and goes back to the title, Problems Doing Banking in the Philippines. BPI, Bravo Papa India. I have a couple of accounts with them. I have a PayPal account that works, and I have I think it's a savings account, but I think it's a savings account. I have not been in a BPI bank for a year or so. Now, I keep a minimum amount of money in there. You have to keep 10,000 pesos, and I have 10,900 pesos in that bank. Just to keep, it's kind of like it's like a buffer. If I needed 10,000 pesos and one bank was closed, I could go to the other bank. But then I pay $13 penalty for running low, under $500, under $200. So they got you coming and going, these banks. But BPI. A year ago, they closed their branch down in the ICM Mall. Now, they opened it up again 2 weeks ago. However, if you get to the BPI branch, this is a nightmare. A nightmare. It's a terrible thing. It's a joke. It's not real, the BPI bank. What they do to you is ludicrous. It's insanity. It's insane on every level. The BPI, they treat you, I can't say like a third world entity, because we're in a third world country. They treat you like worse than a third world entity. So unless you're waiting at the gate to get into the BPI to get a number at 8:30 in the morning, 8:30, the bank opens at 9. Unless you're in that queue line at 8:30 in the morning to get a number, you're going to wait for several hours. But if you get there at 10 o'clock in the morning, let's say, you just got to the bank at 10 o'clock. Well, if you get there at 10 o'clock, you're going to get a number, and you might get called somewhere between 2 and 3:30. No guarantee. No guarantee you're going to get called at all. So typically, a 3 to 4 to 5 hour wait is normal in the BPI bank in the ICM Mall. I don't think that's reasonable, but people sit in the BPI bank for 4 or 5 or 3 or 2.5 or 1.5 hours. I don't see reasonable for that. So what if and when I did business with them 7 years ago, I got a ticket and I left, and I went shopping, and I went to the BQ Mall, and I went to the Build-A-Wear, and I went to City Hardware, and then I came back at like 3 o'clock, and my number, of course, was called by then, and then you get right in. You don't have to be there when your number is called. You can go afterwards. But how ridiculous is that? Now, they don't have a choice. They only have so many rooms for so many tellers, so many seating capacity, so many people to assist you. So those people are relatively busy for 8.5 or 9 hours a day. They don't have a choice. They don't have enough people to service the clientele. So that's a problem with the BPI bank. Now, there was another branch that had more tellers and was a much faster operation in the Galleria Mall. Well, that branch is closed. I don't know why. Maybe they're refurbishing it the same way they did with the ICM Mall. I don't know. But that branch has been closed, I guess, since the ICM opened up. So maybe they're doing a rotation. And that branch had, I'm thinking five people at a booth to talk to, plus one on the other side, 6 as you walk in, and then 5 more in the back. So they probably had 11 people to service you. Whereas the BPI bank in the ICM Mall only has about 8. But you have a lot more traffic there. So that's not an option. So I got to find another bank that has more than one branch. And the BPI has 3 branches. I might end up there. I might end up back where I started. I don't know. But all I know is that doing banking business in the Philippines, it's nothing like in America. And I don't know. I have bank accounts. I have bank accounts in several places in America. But but the one I had in the Florida Keys. Oh God! Here's another thing. You want to hear a joke? This is funny because this is ridiculous. Okay, so the Florida Keys. You go into my bank in the Florida Keys. As you walk in, any bank in the Florida Keys, all banks in the Florida Keys. As you walk in, there's a coffee machine, hot water, and tea bags, sugar, and an assortment of cookies, and usually crumb cake or some kind of chocolate swirl layer cake, something like that. Chocolate, crumb cake, and then sugar, milk, or creamer, and then a cold water dispenser or hot water for your tea. Then, on the counter where you do your business, there's candy. Usually lollipops and gumdrops in plastic bags or Hershey's Kisses. Big jars of it next to each teller. And if you go to the manager's desk, they have a bowl, so you can just grab a handful. In the Philippines, they don't even have a cold water dispenser in the bank. I don't know. Cold water seems to be something that would be reasonable to give to the people in the Philippines if they're there for 5 hours. They don't have that. They also don't have a bathroom in the bank. There is no bathroom in the bank. Not in the BPI. There's a bathroom outside the BPI. And the bathrooms in the ICM Mall, if you had to rate them from 1 to 10 on cleanliness, they're clean. They're about as clean as they get. So you're going, but you still have to go outside the bank. However, in the BPI bank in the Galleria Mall, there's no bathroom. And then you have to go, you got to go up the stairs. You got to walk about 100 feet, take the elevator or go up the stairs. And then you have 160 to 175 foot walk. And then make a right It's right near the restaurant, and you make a right, and then you go another 50 feet, and those bathrooms are clean, but they are 240 feet away from the entrance to the BPI bank and up a flight of stairs, along a big flight of stairs, like, an 18-foot flight of stairs, or the elevator. So they don't have a bathroom, and they don't have cold water in there either. They don't have water in there either. There's nothing in there. I got to find a bank that I could do business with. I got to tell you. I haven't had any luck. Now, the bank I originally did business with, the first RCBC bank, there was a man named Salito. Salito was the manager. God, he was like a 10. He was like a 12 on a scale from 1 to 10. Salito. He'd come in, he'd laugh with you, he'd tell you jokes, he'd get your business done while you were sitting in his office. His office had a water cooler in it because he was the manager. And he'd ask you if you want to fill up your water jug. But I only did business there for a year and a half, and they shut his branch down and let him go. They should have kept him and fired somebody else. Salito was like a 12 on a scale from 1 to 10. Not only was he personable, but he was a freaking smart, efficient, wonderful, jolly type of guy. He knew, like, he was around. I guess he was a well-rounded man, Salito was. When they closed his branch, and what did they do? They let him go, and they left. Toilet paper. No, they don't have toilet paper. I'll talk about that. All right, so Salito, if you ever watch this video, you're number one, baby. Salito, I miss Salito. I miss chatting with. He was such a great guy. RCBC Bank, I know you're going to watch this. Salito was the best, absolute best employee you ever had or ever will have, and you let him go, you fools. If I knew what bank Salito went to, I would go to his bank, and if they had 2 branches, I'd start an account with Salito. That's how much I liked him. He was a great guy. Do they have toilet paper? Let me tell you something, Dennis. I was in the Galleria bathroom yesterday because I needed to use the bathroom. But they have no toilet paper. And I didn't have to do number 2, so it didn't matter. But sometimes, and not always, I do believe in the ICM mall. No, I think it's the BQ mall. I don't pay much attention to toilet paper. When I leave the house in the morning, I usually wait until I use the restroom before I leave the house, and then I won't have to go till I get home again. But if I do, and they don't have toilet paper, I just use a bottle of water. They don't have cabots in any of the bathrooms. There's no more cabots because those things are just disgusting anyway. But they don't have water in the actual John. You can only just sit down on a toilet seat that flushes, but there's no toilet paper and there's no way to get water, so you have to bring your own toilet paper in or your own water in to wash with. So I think in one store in the BQ Mall, they have a place to buy, in the supermarket restroom, they have a place to buy toilet paper and a place to buy the paper that you would put on a table that folds out of the wall to change your baby. So you could buy like a diaper and you get a piece of paper to put on the platform. You could buy the diaper and the platform paper, or you could buy toilet paper from 2 different machines. But I don't remember seeing it anywhere else. I'm gonna have to pay more attention to the bathrooms in the Philippines. But no, And I know for a fact that the restroom on the second floor of the ICM mall does not have toilet paper. And I know for a fact that the restroom on the other end of the ICM mall does not have toilet paper. There's two restrooms on the second floor. They don't have toilet paper. And they don't have cabots to get water. So you have to you just bring your own 1-quart bottle and fill it up from the faucet. And you wash like that. That's how people do it here in the Philippines. So I guess people know to bring their own toilet paper or bring a bottle of water. Now, what other things do I have to talk about with banking? I have more things. So, in order to fill out a bank request to start a bank account at the RCBC Bank, it took 4 hours. In order to fill out a bank account for the BPI Bank in the ICM Mall, it took 4 hours. So if you want to start a new bank account, well, I counted to fill out my dollar account. Okay, let me show you. I don't want to show you too much. I really don't want to show you any of my personal information. But I will show you. Okay, so this is what a foreign. Let me open up the screen here. Oh boy. Oh, we're gonna talk about the person that's leaving pornography links on my page. You have been reported for that. Of course, it will make a difference. To you, it won't make a difference. But you have been reported for something else just recently that has nothing to do with YouTube. Nothing at all. The furthest thing in the world, the people that you have been reported to probably have never even heard of YouTube. But I received a notice on one of my oldest videos on YouTube. Somebody reported you to the authorities for something that has nothing to do with YouTube. You figure it out. You did something. You did something without the proper paperwork, and I'm going to myself, I don't think that's going to make much of a difference, but then again it might. And again it might. You did something really, really bad besides leaving messages. What purpose does it serve to leave trolling messages on my page? You have been blocked. Tamaria Rogers has been blocked. And the person who sent me a message that you have been reported to the authorities for something altogether different. I wish I could bring those two things together. That one was the causation of the other, but that's not the way it worked out. But you are a strange little man. You are a strange little man. That you said that you were going to stop causing problems on YouTube, but you never did. You're a strange little man. But what I'm going to do is I wasn't going to do something, but now I'm going to do something. So I have been off YouTube for 10 days, and this is what I come back to, this crap of you leaving a message. I'll show the people the message that you left as soon as I get to my home page. I have to open up a... Wow. I think, what do I have to do here? I have to do this. I want to try to get on, that's a strange picture, yeah? That's a really strange picture. I want to try to open up my, my live stream. Here it is, right here. Imagine, I want you people to imagine. I want you to just try to imagine this. I want you to try to imagine meeting a woman and then the woman smiling at you with teeth that look like that. I want you to try to imagine what a woman would think when she looked in the mirror and saw teeth like that. I really feel sorry. I think that we should take up a collection, but that doesn't change the fact that somebody is harassing me on YouTube, and I don't understand why. I have left YouTube for 10 days. I haven't made a single comment on anybody's channel in 10 days, and I come back and I'm greeted with people sending me those pictures in emails. And then let's see what we could do here. Let's go to my home page. We're going to change this, and then we have to go to the live stream, and then I'm going to show you something, and then I'm going to... Oh, I think I just did show it to you. Oh, yeah. I wanted to show you the comments. You are one strange dude, boy, or woman, whatever it is that you are, because I don't know who's operating that channel. But you are one twisted entity. But you remind me of the movie Ghost, Ghost, Ghost. When the guy died and out of the gutter, out of the sewers, long black arms reached out and sucked his soul down into the earth. That's what you remind me of. And just so happens that when I woke up this morning, there was a message on an old hoodwinked video, really old, that you have been reported. You have been reported for something that you did, and it's all documented too. Even though people can put videos up on YouTube and then take them down, or they can modify them. Michael McFarlane, no, they don't ever give up. The trolls never give up. But what you did was legally, I say legally documented and then recorded in a book, in a registrar somewhere. And then you did a bad thing. You did a bad thing. And I got an email this morning talking about the fact that that bad thing that you did has been reported to the authorities. I got an email just on March 31st. I thought if it would have been tomorrow, I would have thought it was April Fool's. I'm going, what? Why would anybody go through all of that trouble to do that? But they did. They did. They did. So now I'm looking at my comments. I could show you the screenshot I did of it, but I don't really care about that so much. You're a sick man or woman, whoever you appear that you think, whatever it is that you think you are. God almighty. And you need some dental work. It looks, if that's your smile, that's your best smile, damn, man, now I got a good idea why you're such a miserable person. Holy shit. I can't even imagine waking up and looking in the mirror and seeing that mess. Let me save this file. So let's see if I could show the people. I could. I have it blown up, but no, I can't show you that. What a freaking mess you are. What a freaking, no, you know what? I didn't even bring it over to my file. But I think what I could do is I think I could go to view. I want to show you people something. I want to show you something. Now, I can't be sure. There's no way of knowing for sure who is sending these pornographic links and who's behind the channel per se. I will tell you something. If I had to wake up and look at this mess in the morning, I would go to a dentist and I would have, I don't know what you could do for that. I don't know that there is anything you could do for this. Let me see if I could get this a little bit bigger. Zoom in again. Okay, so I'm already at 300%. I don't know how much higher it goes than that. I'll go up to 400. 450, 475. Okay, let's try that. No? Boy, this is really hard. I wonder if I could do it like this. No, I can't. Well, anyway, let's just leave it at the person who sent me what they did when they reported you to the authorities. They also, you know what I could do? I could do it like this. They sent me an email link to contact them just this morning. Oh, there it is, right there. All I have to do is blow it up. I'm getting close. All I have to do is blow it up. And they sent me this picture. Now, I don't know that it's the person that's sending me somebody sent me a bunch of curse words. And then another person, different channel altogether, sent me pornographic links because I forgot to check off do not allow links. But let me, I gotta figure out how I can do this without showing the person's name. I wonder if I could make it bigger yet. I wonder, first of all, I would have to do this, right? Yeah, okay. So this, okay. Yeah. All right, so let's just see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, there they are. There's the bad boys. Look at those bad boys. I don't know if this is a real person or YouTuber. I don't know that that's a real person or not. But what I will tell you is it looks like, remember that James Bond movie where there was a guy called Jaws? Maybe that's where they got this picture from. But that's not who they accredited the picture to. They accredited this picture to a YouTube troll. Now I don't know that that's the case, but I don't even now. I would understand a little bit more about the guy if I could tell you that. What's going on here? Wow, I put that picture on and it shut off my computer. My computer just shut itself off without me doing anything. It's done that before. It's been doing it for about, well, I know why it's doing it. My D drive, this camera, if you don't set it right, well, let's go back to the picture. The picture is supposed to be the guy that was reported for the thing that he did. That was absolutely. This is not theoretical. It's not biased. It's not personal. It's not anything. When the man sent me the picture and the email address this morning, I sent a note to his email, and he sent me back all of the information, and it looked legitimate. So I think that but those teeth, I don't know that the teeth are associated with. I don't know what they're associated with. I would imagine they're associated with a very, 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 very fragile man when it comes to smiling. It looks like a man's mouth. I would say that that person, teeth that look like that. How did they get to that point? I don't know. I mean, I don't have the most beautiful smile anymore. I'm missing teeth, but that kind of teeth reminds me of somebody that that neglected his teeth for long periods of time. And there are different reasons to neglect your teeth for long periods of time. I wouldn't go out on a limb and say that the person was doing anything illegal. I would not say that. But I would say that in order to have teeth to malfunction and look like that, if that is the person that's sending me the pornographic links, that woman, the woman's name Tamaria, I think the name is. I'll look at it in my file. If that's the person, it's pretty crazy, man. The name of that, I gotta get the screen down now, back to normal. It's at 500%. 500%. All I can see are those teeth on my screen. Look at them teeth. Look at those. My friend Bobby would have had a freaking field day. He would have made you laugh until you cried every day of your life if you had teeth like that. He was cruel. He was freaking cruel. In fact, everybody had a nickname back then. Everybody had a nickname. Nobody got away. Nobody didn't have a nickname. No matter who you were, you had a nickname. But Bobby would have nicknamed you something. By the end of the by the end of the first week after hearing your nickname and him saying it right to your face, you would be upset, to say the least. But he made you laugh. There was a guy. This is a true story. So we're talking 1970. 1978 or 1979, maybe 1980. It could have been, maybe it could have even been 1980. No, because first I built his business. He had an auto parts store. We'll leave it at auto parts. So this guy, he had a friend, Mikey. I can't even say the shit that Mikey would say when he came into the store. Mikey worked in East New York in the auto wrecking yards in East New York, Brooklyn. I forgot the name of the street. There was a whole gauntlet of streets. I know because I put in, I got it out an old Airbus something, air glider trailer, and I made an office out of it. I took the bathroom and the kitchen out. I made an office out of it. Yeah, the teeth. Where would the teeth come from? That's pretty nasty. Imagine smiling at a girl, or a girl smiling at you, and having a set of teeth that look like that. I mean, how would you expect? Seriously, how would you expect? How would you expect another person to be enthralled with your teeth enough to kiss you with teeth like that? That would have to be something that would be in your imagination. You would have to imagine that happening. It wouldn't happen in real life. So we'll get off. I remember when I first met Daisy, the first day I met Daisy in Davao, the first thing she did when she met me, the first day, not the very first thing, but before we went back, because her mother was with her. Her mother and her nephew, John. So we all had one big room. The first thing Daisy did when we got back to the room after we had dinner was she grabbed me by the head and she goes, "I want to check your teeth." I said, what do you mean you want to check my teeth? We had been talking for 91 days. And for 91 days, the subject of teeth came up many times. And she goes, "I want to make sure they're real." I'm going, "Well, I already told you." She goes, "I can check?" I said, "Okay." And she grabbed my teeth and like that. She grabbed them and moved them around in the back teeth, the back side, the top. She goes, "Okay." And I said, I always was missing teeth. I've been missing teeth since I was 31. But she grabbed my teeth to check to make sure I had teeth. But the teeth I have are in, they need to be cleaned because of this damn lockdown, but they're not. They need to be cleaned. But and my dentist is in Cebu, and I quit smoking 5 months ago now, 5 months. So, and I brush my teeth after every meal. They just need to be cleaned. But I have teeth, top and bottom. And they're relatively straight. Okay, they're starting to get plaque. But my teeth, but imagine somebody smiling at you with a set of gumps like that, stumps and gumps we could call them, and then wanting to kiss you, or going out on a date. I met a really pretty, wow, what a cute girl I met yesterday. Alma. I remember her name because I was going to come to the Philippines to meet a girl named Alma. And I met a girl named Alma, and she's in a video of mine. However, she was not 24 like she said. Her sister was 24, and she was using her sister's Facebook page and her sister's Facebook pictures. So I thought I was going there to meet a 24-year-old woman, who eventually I did meet her sister and her at a very public dinner. But Alma, I remember. So Alma was cute as a button. God, she was cute. Oh, she was, but there are certain things, certain women that I won't date. And for reasons, I won't date them. So Alma had a beautiful smile, but she had tattoos all over. She had this tattoo. I don't know how long the tattoo. It went from her knee all the way up into her. Well, it went under her shorts, which were very short. She was really cute. I don't date women with huge tattoos like that. I never dated a woman with a bunch of tattoos. It's probably some insignificant thing for most part, but I never dated a woman with a lot of tattoos. And those huge tattoos, I really call them, even though it was a beautiful rose that went right up into her pants, I would not date her. So I don't know that I could have. I never got that far. We talked, we had fun, we laughed, we walked around the store together, and I said, goodbye. And she said goodbye. There was no talk of dating, but I never dated a woman with a huge tattoo like that. I probably never would, because I think I grew up in an era where those were called tramp stamps. I don't know if it means anything, but I wouldn't do it. And I also wouldn't date a woman that didn't have teeth. Even though I'm missing teeth, she could be missing teeth. That would be okay, but rotten teeth? No, not going to do that. You have any idea what those teeth in the thumbnail of my picture must smell like? Besides looking at them. I mean, could you imagine waking up and somebody smiling at you with teeth like that? Come on. Let's be real. Let's be real. Would you? I'm asking my audience of 8 people to send me some feedback. Would you kiss a woman, or if you're a man, would you kiss a woman with teeth like that? And if you're a woman, would you kiss a man with teeth like that? Come on, let's get real on this. Come on, I want some feedback. So, Big Al, I saw you. I heard Passport talking about you. I heard you're putting out some. I heard you're putting out some material, some videos. So what I want to do, Big Al, is do me a favor, Big Al. Post something on one of my videos so I can subscribe to your channel, because I don't think I'm subscribed. But if Passport likes you, well, then it's a done deal. Now, thank you very much for stopping by, Big Al. The hillbillies, says Dennis Adam, from the Appalachians have teeth like that from drinking way too much soda pop. Now, that's one reason. That's a reason. Plus, they don't have access to toothpaste and toothbrushes. When I still had teeth, I used baking soda at times to clean my teeth. Coffee stains, etc. You know what, Dennis? You know what? I forgot all about that trick. I'm gonna get my baking soda and put it next to the sink. It won't solve the problem, but it won't hurt. Here it is right here. I use the baking soda for my for deodorant. I don't use deodorant, but it's good for your teeth. I forgot all about that. I really do have to get to the dentist. Here's my my pile of baking soda. This is from, I use this, you just take a little bit of this like this, put it on your fingertip just like that, that much. That's all you need. And you put it on your arm, underneath your armpit, and then you use your other finger to do your other armpit. You don't put the sweat from your armpit in the baking soda. And you put that much underneath your armpit in the morning, or after you take your shower, or your bucket bath in my case, and it stops your smell. There is no smell. That's how much I use, and my armpits don't smell. Then it says, oh, we are getting feedback. The bad breath would be too much to handle. Well, we had this conversation about teeth that look like that. Teeth that look like that. I don't know if I could. When my computer went down, I don't know that the pictures came back up. No, that one didn't. Yeah, it came back up, but man, that's nasty. And then it looks like half of them teeth are missing. So the girl, I think it was the Fiesta, or it might have been Christmas. One of the ladies at the party, she smiled at me and breathed in my direction from about, no, it was a 1 year anniversary of a wake for one of my neighbors. That's what it was. She smiled at me and breathed in my direction from about, she was in the next chair over. So she was a solid 2 feet away from me. And when she breathed at me, when she smiled, and I breathed in, my breath stopped. Like that. I couldn't breathe. It just gagged me solid. I literally had to stand up and walk away. That's what those teeth that the guy sent me in the email this morning, that he said those teeth belonged to somebody that he reported for a very, 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 very illegal thing that the guy did. He actually said that the guy did this illegal thing, and he has proofs, multiple proofs. And then I emailed him, and he showed me the proofs. And I said, how the hell did you get this information? And then he told me he's a researcher. He researches this shit. And so I said, what did you find out about me? He goes, not much. Because I know he looked me up. So I said, there's really not that much of me in ancient history. Because I was a legitimate contractor. So when I asked him, what did you find out about me? It was not much. Because don't you remember when that guy, not the Ladyboy Lover, the other guy up in Subic Bay or Manila, I'm going to find out, I'm going to research Fazio's background. Go ahead. I'm going to find out if Fazio has any criminal background. Go ahead. There's nothing in my background that would come up as a criminal. Nothing at all. There are a couple of charges that were adjudicated. That means that I wasn't guilty and it was a mistake. And that's it. That's it. I didn't even have a parking violation since 1999. But this guy, he was freaking, the shit that he sent me in the email. He has a history of a guy on YouTube that is known to harass people. He has a history of things that you just wouldn't believe that's in somebody's background. And or not all of them were bad, just that the history exists. And But everything he sent me, everything but the fact that there was no record of him ever brushing his teeth. That I found. That I don't know. I mean, if someone could do a forensics on this picture and find out whose teeth they are, that would be interesting. Because maybe, maybe, maybe I should take up a. I have PayPal on my page now, and maybe I could help this fella out with, collect donations for tooth repair, or, or, or maybe that 9-inch grinder that I have. We might be able to at least flatten out the tops and the bottoms of them bad boys, because they don't even look like they line up with one another. I mean, they don't even look like they're lining up. I mean, take a look at this. Seriously, take a look at this. Wait, let me get my hand over the camera here. Okay, take a look at this. Let's just turn this around. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's be serious here. Whose teeth? Who would still have teeth like that in today's world? Who would still have teeth like that? Come on. I want feedback now. I mean, and if you had teeth like that and you had money, right? Let's say you had some money. Wouldn't you fix that? Wouldn't you spend a few dollars to fix that? Even if the few dollars was spent to have the teeth removed, even the removal of the teeth would be an improvement over that. Come on. Come on. I mean, I'm being serious now. I don't know that the teeth belong to the guy who's sending me the curse words and the pornographic links, but I am telling you that it was sent to me as a connected YouTuber to the violation that was reported. Now, I don't know how, or I don't know when. I know who was reported, and I know for what they were reported for, but I don't know when. But apparently it was today. So, and if it's found out to be true, what was sent to me, which looked like legitimate information, what was sent to me as a legitimate piece of information, it sounds to me that that there's going to have to be some funneling of money into that direction to cure that problem. If that problem, who knows, maybe that problem really was solved like 20 years ago. I don't know. But right now, that researcher sent me stuff that I was reading, and I'm going, how could you possibly find out all of this stuff about all these people? How could you do that? I mean, there were telephone numbers. There were telephone numbers that were assigned to this particular person 25 years ago. I mean, who has records like that? Why would you have access to that? I don't know who the guy is. I know that his YouTube name, but how would you have access to records with people's telephone numbers from 25 years ago? I'm glad this guy's on my side. And when I asked him, what did you find out about me? He said nothing. I would imagine he was laughing, because I'm sure as hell he looked me up. But that other guy from Manila, he's, I'm going to find out that and nothing ever happened with that, right? Because there's really nothing that I ever did that was noteworthy. I guess no one ever made notes. I guess they weren't following the script, making notes about everybody and everybody's carpenter. Have no idea. But let me get back to the comments. Well, let's go back. I think I could see it on my page. I can. Okay. Oh, man, we have a lot of comments. So Big Al really liked that smile when Mike really has something. Mike, that's a compliment. Thank you, Big Al. Dennis The hillbillies from the Appalachians have teeth like that from drinking way too much soda pop. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Bad breath would be too much to handle. That woman, when I remember when I was breathing in my breath, I had to back up, breathe out, and then breathe back in. That's how bad her breath was. Given new name in eternal holy. Oh boy, that's a long name. Eat, given new name in eternal Holy Ghost. Hey, sir, like your videos. Have you correlated the 2038 problem and the 2008 Great Pyramid timeline to the dollar? No, never heard of it. I don't do dollar bill videos anymore because even though everything I ever said about the dollar bill and the pictographs on the dollar bill was true, all that ever did was get my channel censored to where they shut off the bell. So I don't do dollar bill videos. Occasionally I'll talk about something I did with the dollar bill, but normally not. I don't do that. Well, I did get distracted when you said that. However, you didn't distract me from what was in the title of the video, Banking in the Philippines, which was the main theme. And as far as rotten teeth are concerned, that's really not that important that I care about getting distracted from. That was a side note. So we'll let that one pass. So he says the dollar shows an eye or an eye. That's true. Could be either one. And the apex of an eye in the crash of 2038. Let's see. Let me try to read this and make sense of it. Well, the crash of 2038 wouldn't that be 17 years from now? Oh, okay. In the Queen's Chamber. Oh, I see. So what you're saying is the crash of 2038 was correlated to the Queen's Chamber in the Great Pyramid, which, by the way, somebody's determining the future from the past, or someone went forward ahead in time and wrote a history book about our future. But one of those two things is true. Somebody either is determining what our future would be with the incremental notches and inches and metrics of the King's and Queen's Chamber. And in history, it's been recorded inside the Great Pyramid because either one of two things has occurred. Either somebody is determining our future from the past, or somebody went forward in time and watched history occur and then wrote about it via the Queen's Chamber and the Great Pyramid. So, yeah, I believe that much because there are too many correlations between the King and Queen's Chamber and the Great Chamber and the Great Hall and stuff like that for it to be a coincidence. But if you really want to see some of the geometric coincidences, or I'll give you the name, Tucker, Tucker, Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, what you want to watch, no, it's not him. Tucker Carlson is that stupid bastard that paid for a show on Fox News. Carlson. Well, we know it's that. Carlson. Geodesic. Geodisic. Geodesic. Carlson. What the heck was that guy's name? Carlson. I'm looking for. There's a guy called Carlson, and he's really. He has some of the most informational videos about the Great Pyramid. Carlson something. Why can't I? Carlson. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. Hold on. Now my computer's going to shut off again because I went out. Okay. Carlson, Randall Carlson, that's his name. Randall Carlson. Randel. Randall Carlson. So I'm going to give you this guy's name. This guy, if you want to learn about the Great Pyramid, Randall, R-A-N, Randall Carlson, okay? He's a Mason. He is a Mason. But he I think he has an 8-part series. I know he has an 8-part series. System of Symbolic Carpenter. Right, so I'm just going to give you his name. And then I want you to go. There's an 8-part series. I don't see it here. Where he breaks down that the Great Pyramid is exactly the one side of the Great Pyramid is supposedly that the Earth rotates, which we know it doesn't. But if the Earth rotated at the speed it said, the side of the Great Pyramid would be 1/2 of a second the distance it would travel in a half a second. And then 2 sides would be the distance that the Earth traveled in 1 second. But he also, the height of the Great Pyramid is also a certain amount of times the distance of the height of the Great Pyramid is a certain amount of times to the supposed distance of the mean equinox of the moon. So there are so many different calculations encompassed in the sides, the size, the height, and even the volume of the Great Pyramid that has to do with astronomical functions, that it can't be a coincidence. So whoever made the Great Pyramid knew about things that even to this day, I don't know that we could figure all this stuff out. So I'm gonna give you that piece of his name, and it would do you well if you want to learn about the Great Pyramid to read about this guy Randall Carlson, because he is an amazing person. He really is. I've watched all of his live streams. I don't watch them anymore because, again, I watched them after I made my book. And after YouTube destroyed my view counts, I don't do any more dollar bill videos. I'm going to just bypass a lot of your comments. I don't think I've ever looked at a $100 bill with a magnifying glass. I know I didn't. Old $100 bills, yes. And there were codes on the old $100 bills too. But most of them were on the $1 bill. Well, and Nostradamus was another guy. He either traveled back in time to tell us the future, or he could see the future, but he didn't do it by accident. Just like I'm going to stand up right now. I'm going to go get a bottle of water. So I will be back in about 30 seconds. I'm thirsty. And then I want to hear comments about them teeth. And then I'll tell you about my friend Bobby, what he would have done about those teeth. If he's still alive. Which I really should find out. The truth about Bobby. The truth about Bobby. Somebody sent me Bobby's telephone number a while back, and I just found it. Again, I think I threw that book over here. Hold on. Oh, let's see. It's not wrong book. Well, I did find it. Now I lost it. All right. Well, I'll go back. Richie Buang. You post a lot of crap about me. I don't know that you like me, Richie. I think you're just here trolling. You have a fetish with the mushroom videos, Richie Buang. Don't I watch your shit? So I'll probably just what was your favorite dollar bill video? I'll ask you that question, Richie. Well, I know you're here trolling. You're actually here to get some FaceTime on my channel, which is okay. But what was your favorite dollar bill video, Rich? Then please tell me the favorite one. I'll look it up and post it right now. I did have a lot of really crazy dollar bill videos out there, so he might be serious about that. I don't know. I don't know that he is or isn't. I'm going to see if I can. I don't see any comments about all them teeth. Richie Buang. Oh, my God. He knows Randall. All right. So Richie Buang has big intelligence. He was on the Joe Rogan show. Randall Carlson. All right, Richie. That's good to hear. Yeah, he was on I watched him on the Joe Rogan show. To get on the Joe Rogan show, you have any idea how hard it is to get on that show? You got to be like the top of the top of the top of the top of the top. That guy Joe Rogan, I heard that he makes, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard he makes, on average, for the guests that he has on, all of them, on average, he'll make $75,000 for each show he puts on. And that's why he just selects the best of the best, which he deserves it because he's a pretty good host. All right, so eat, given new name in eternal life, Holy Ghost. You know, I'm reading your comment. It's wonderful thought process, but it's wishful thinking. It's wishful thinking. I'll tell you why, but just my opinion, of course. I think that AI will be forced self-realization at that time on that date and is retroactively trying to update itself through quantum systems, and supercomputers. The retroactive communication is hidden. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a little piece of information. You could believe it or not, I don't care. But I know that you've probably heard of the Christ consciousness or the Buddha consciousness or the what is called the Samadhi experience or enlightenment. Okay? That level of consciousness or level of spiritual understanding, when the Kundalini in your body is released, it supersedes all of this computer animation, possible matrix crap. You see through all of that. It's fiction. It becomes fiction. And you also see the universe for what it really is, a giant machine that doesn't make mistakes. But in the interim, you can believe that they're trying to upgrade you with supercomputers and stuff like that. But does it happen to everybody? No, it does not. Okay, it doesn't happen. There are people like myself that are not affected by the thought process of the masses. The masses. You couldn't get me to believe. You could not get me to believe certain things. It won't make any difference at all. Let's just talk about Vietnam. Okay, now, for some reason, somebody decided that we needed to conquer Vietnam. And I knew at the time, from being involved with some really serious, long-term, heavy-duty, intensive meditation and enlightenment, that Vietnam was nothing more and nothing less than a way for them to test out military ideas and for people to make money. And I was only 16 at the time. And I didn't watch news and I didn't read the papers. But just from thinking about what Vietnam was, I realized while I was in that state of consciousness that Vietnam was nothing more than a money-making business and that there was no real purpose behind the Vietnam War. Now, when I got my draft notice, I would have gone into the service, no problem. I would have gone into the Air Force as an A&P jet mechanic. I wasn't opposed to going in as a mechanic, but I did not see, because of being in that state of enlightenment, any purpose for going over there and killing people in Vietnam. I saw no reason for it, but again, you can't change the world when you're in that state of consciousness. You can just change small pieces of your world, but not the world. Well, I have the same feeling about the last election, and I have the same feeling, and I was right about this current pandemic. And I told you people that Donald Trump was part of the program to bring the world's economic commerce to its knees. And he played as much of a part in it as did Obama when he made the North American Trade Agreement between Canada, Mexico, and the United States. These are all, the whole of government is all a society, just like George Carlin spoke of, but you people don't get it. It's just one big club, and we are not in it, but some of us see it for what it is. Okay? You don't know what I know, and I can't make you know, and if I told you what I know, you would think that I was crazy, which would make no difference to me. I still know it. Like, I know for a fact that the first 6 weeks of Obama's president, he printed $17 billion because a friend of mine worked for Pitney Bowes. And you try to find one, and it was all over the paper. Obama's printing money, and That money went to buy every politician's favor and or vote or non-vote against him. It went to buy every judge and every mayor and every governor and every politician in America. Now, they didn't have to take the money. They could have said, no, we don't want this hush money, but they still demanded that they say nothing about what Obama does. And they did say nothing. So they took the money and they still shut their mouths. So the few people that went against Obama, who were they? Rand Paul? Insignificant person. They made him look like he was crazy. And but I knew what Obama was doing because I looked at it from a metaphysical point of view. Why is he printing all this money? And you get an answer when you're on certain levels of consciousness. He's printing it to buy silence from everybody. This last presidential hurrah, let's call it the last president, it's totally... Listen, you people, you listen to crap about history. 20 million years ago, 60 million years ago, the dinosaurs, the pterodactyls, they flew. And yet, with how many trillions of dollars of electronic instruments recording how many hundreds of millions of votes, small amount of votes, how many trillions of dollars of computers and technical systems observed the 2020 elections, how many trillions of dollars the NSA, the FBI, the whatever, the Secret Service, every government agency had millions and millions or billions of dollars worth of computers, and they couldn't, with all of those trillions of dollars, they couldn't come up with a figure that was correct or that people agree with. You people have been bamboozled into believing all of this crap. I don't believe any of it. I ask myself a question, I come to a conclusion. I told you that the shipping industry was going to collapse last March or April. I made it a point by September to make videos that they were going to start selling off ships. By October, November, they were selling off ships to China for scrap and Turkey, I think, for scrap that weren't supposed to be slated to be sold off till 2024. I told you about the cargo ship crisis, that they were going to start selling off cargo ships that weren't supposed to be slated to be sold off as scrap till 2024, 2025. I told you about the thousands of airplanes that were scrapped without any note in the history book, so to speak, because they knew they weren't going to use them, and to maintain them cost so much. Because the best estimate that the economy is going to come back, and it's not going to come back. I told you that was never going to happen. The best estimate is that maybe it'll come back in 2024, 2023, maybe, somewhat. It might come back to its highest that it's going to be in 4 years, but never coming back. Do you know how many... I have videos coming up on the Alpha Male channel. I made videos of, God, I'm going to go eat in this restaurant today, if I can, which I need to start to get a move on if I'm going to go eat in this restaurant. But there was a restaurant in the city that I used to eat in on a regular basis. I don't think I'm going to get there today. But there was a restaurant in the city. I probably have to go tomorrow, have lunch there. There was, and I'll get back to Richie Buong and the rest of you. I'm not even scrolling down. I'm just rambling on here for a minute. So there was a restaurant that you couldn't get in at lunchtime. It is the most amazing view. Now, I made a video yesterday of that restaurant. It's called the E-Captain or something like that. You'll see it. Food is great. The view is the best. I don't care what restaurant you're in Bohol. I don't care where you're going to eat. I don't care how much the food costs. I don't care what the linen on the table looks like. The restaurant I'm going to make a video tomorrow of, and the one I made a video of today, is the best view in Bohol. And the average meal is about between $5 and $7 for a lunch meal. Okay, so that restaurant had 22 people in it yesterday at lunchtime. Normally, it's a waiting outside only to get into the restaurant. And immediately out, it's in the Galleria Mall. Galleria Mall. Immediately outside the restaurant was a perfume cosmetic shop that was a thriving business. Hundreds of people would be mulling around in front of the store. They closed it. It's gone. The storefront was emptied, a long time ago. I don't know when, but there's nothing left from the store. It's just a glass storefront with nothing in the store at all, not even a chair. And then the next four businesses were closed, and 2 across the hallway. So 6 of about 11 businesses were closed, and the 3 that were open, nobody was in a little cosmetic store. The shoe store that I showed you the picture of in my thumbnail of this video, that's a great business. I'll have that video up and running within the next day or so. That's just a fantastic shoe store. $11 gets a pair of $300 new soles and new heels for $11 on a $300 pair of shoes. And then, of course, the gadget store that I bought my cell phone case, which was, I bought some Gorilla Glass for my Samsung. So let me go back to the comments. Sleepy Joe, says Richie Boang. I don't know where that is, Sevilla, Richie. I don't know where that is. That's a long time ago you were here. Could you imagine? I can't imagine what it was like being in the Philippines in 2001. I do know a guy, very good. In fact, last night when I got home from the city, oh, what a day. I was exhausted. I had to take a shower, a bucket bath. I was exhausted. I'm going, God, I got to cook. And 2 of the local children walked up to me and said, Michael, here. And they handed me a plate, about a 10-inch plate, full, overflowing with foods from a party next door. And he's been here since $30 years. So what's 30 years? 1980. No, 1990. He's been here since 1990. Never left. Well, he leaves to go back to his country. But he said where we are now, there was no electric, there was no road. There was nothing where we are now. He knows this area. So yeah, it's pretty trippy. Oh, okay, you're way out there at the end of the island. That's pretty far out. So going back to that Randall Carlson, he has some now, and the way he knows all the words for he's the best in one of the best in his field. But I really like the way he explains the height of the Great Pyramid as a ratio to the distance, the mean distance between the moon and the sun, and how they relate to each other. I've probably watched that series. It's an 8-part series, and I think it's in part 6, but I'm not sure. And I didn't know that you like that. Good to hear. And And wow. But that man talking about the Great Pyramid and it being notched into the different, in not so much notched, but in increments. If you take millimeters and how many millimeters from the base of the Queen's Chamber tunnel and all of that, I don't remember all that stuff because it doesn't have much to do with me building a hotel, and it has nothing to do with my book on the dollar bill. Not that individual stuff, but I researched that to see if it did have to do with the dollar bill, and maybe it does, but I never found a correlation that was worth writing about. Nobody wants to comment on them teeth, huh? Let's see. All right, Michael, you're gonna watch this while you're running around. I don't know why the comments didn't show up before from you over there, but all right, I see it now. All right, so I'm going to be posting on the Alpha Male channel. I have a video of that Captain's restaurant that I'm going to eat at, probably tomorrow. I have a video of the shoe store, which I let me show you my shoes. I know it's not important to you, but let me show you what they do. For $11, they refurbished a pair of $80 sandals for about the 13th, 14th, 12th time. I've been going to them every three to 5 months because these are the sandals I wear around in the house and on the beach and even outside in the shop. Now these sandals that I'm going to show you are these are 41 years old, these sandals. And they are made by a company, I think these are REIs. The emblem that was no. I'm wrong. These are Tivas, Tiva. Okay, so for $11, 550 pesos, the sandals, originally they had this rubber, and then they had a rubber sole on them like this. But from taking this sole off and sanding them down, they kind of wore out down to where there wasn't much left of the sandal. You know, it was just about 1/4 of an inch thick. And then he glued this on. And then the next time he would have done that, and he's a real professional, he only took off just the old rubber, but it just, you know, a few thousandths of an inch each time. I've been having these sandals repaired since 1980. So I said to him, take a piece of this 3/8 foam. In the display where the store is, he has all different types of soles for shoes that are cheap shoes up to, you know, $300-400 custom boots. He does everything. And I said, put a piece of that stuff in there and put the sole on the bottom. And he did that. And it's $11 for $11. But now I have almost like a shoe again, you know, because before it was so flexible, it was not much, didn't have much more power than a flip-flop. So these are very comfortable. So $11. But If you had a pair of $300 shoes, which is going to be in the video that I'm going to post tomorrow, $300 shoes, soles and a heel, high quality sole, high quality heel, replacement $11. That's his high price. That's it. I don't think it goes any higher than that. Maybe there are other soles that go higher. I'll have to ask. But the name of the store is I Fix It Shoes and Bags, I think. I Fix Shoes and Bags. Okay. Need to reread my comments and do another study of the dollar bill. Search Google for IAS Palmer's Island Perimeter PNG and put it over George Washington on the dollar bill. It fits perfectly. Oh, I don't doubt your word on that. I don't doubt your word on that. I mean, there are whatever. What I did on the dollar bill was just the beginning of what could have been done. I could have worked on the dollar bill for years doing research. But you don't understand. And I'll say it again. I've said it 1,000 times. You don't understand. Eat, given, new name in eternal Holy Ghost. You are not listening. I spent $50,000 in time and money to write my book. It should have been a world-class #1 seller. It's all true. It's all factual. And what they gave me for credit was nothing. They destroyed my channel. They give me view counts of 6 or 7 or views on a video when I had 1,500 subscribers. They dismembered the notification bell, and now they give me views of 100 views to 19,400 subscribers. So who am I supposed to tell this information to? Why should I invest any more of my time? Why should you? Do you have even a channel? Do you have a channel? Why don't you take a picture of this IAS, whatever island thing, and you make a video, and you go out and get an editing program, and you do this? Why do I have to do it? I don't want to take a IAS Palmer Island thing and put it over George Washington. I've already done more research on the dollar bill than anybody ever did in history. And you want me to do more? For what reason? You don't even super chat me. You have never super chatted me. You are not a member of my PayPal account. You are not a member of my Patreon account. You have never done anything for me, and you would have me spend 40 or 50 hours doing what you want me to do. I'm not here for you. I'm here for me. And he's still posting stuff. We have a winner. That is. So, eat, given, new name, eternal Holy Ghost. You need to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't care about that. It never, if it would have made me millions of dollars like it should have, but it didn't. But you would have me spend the rest of my life looking for crap on the dollar bill. I'm sure that what you said is true. I agree with you 100%. I believe you. In fact, I even heard a story a long time ago, something about putting something over George Washington's head, and it fits. There's thousands of things on the dollar bill that work out. Because whatever made the dollar bill, I've said it since I started doing my research in 1990. So now what are we up to? How many years have I done research on this? Enough? 30 years? Okay, 30 years I started doing serious research on this. Actually, it's 1988. So for 33 years I've been doing research on this. There are thousands of things that are on the dollar bill that I never got to in the book. But because I told the truth, they destroyed my channel. Once they realized it was the truth, they destroyed. So you be the one, as they say in the Philippines, you be the one. You have a channel. You have stuff to look at. You make a channel. So when you see this guy, what the hell's that guy's name? Some guy, absolutely worthless, completely worthless book that the guy wrote. I forgot the name of the book. Became a #1 world-class bestseller about the Masons and the golden treasure that they found, and they were going from one place to another, and there was a pair of glasses, and they put lemon juice on the paper, and it brought back the picture. That was total baloney, and my stuff is true, and that guy made $100 million. Steven Spielberg should have begged me for the rights for my book, but because my book told the truth, because I told the truth, I got dismissed as a crazy on YouTube. I would make a channel, but I don't want to be famous. There you go. Another would-be YouTuber. 2 videos, man, playlist. All right, so I would make a channel, but I don't want to be famous. I've never heard that excuse before. Give him 2 thumbs up for that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And still, did he hit the PayPal button? Nah, didn't hit the PayPal button. He wants me to spend some time making a video and showing the video. How many hours should I put in there? How many hours should I put in there? Too many video, two videos, many playlists. Yeah, that's another wannabe. Another wannabe. I never heard anybody say I would make a channel, but I don't want to be famous. In other words, he doesn't want to make money. He doesn't want to get AdSense. He doesn't want to have PayPal. And he doesn't want to have notoriety and fame. Troll spread. Yeah, it is. Now leave him. Leave him be. Leave him be, Dennis. Thank you. We're going to let his, what he said, I believe. I believe what he said, but I don't think that I should have to do what he wants me to do. Oh, we're going to join forces and unlock it. Have a nice day there. I'm not going to take your comments off. I'll leave you. I think your comments were legitimate. I think you have a good heart. I think you mean well. And I think that you think I should spend how many hundreds of hours? I'm the expert. All right. I think I should spend hundreds. I'm building a hotel, by the way. It's okay, Dennis. Leave him be. He means well, and probably what he says is true. I believe it. I actually there are things that I didn't put in my book that I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of notations on files that nothing that he said, but other things that would have been like, a part 2 and a part 3. But the government, listen, what I proved in my book. This is what I proved in my book. Go to my Hoodwink channel, look at my About page, and see what I wrote. I proved that the Ark of the Covenant in pictographic form is on the back of the dollar bill. I proved that. I put out a $50,000 wager that it was there. No one took the challenge. I challenged Eric H. Klein from George Washington University. I challenged the guy from Duke University. I challenged every theologian in the Vatican. I challenged Jordan Maxwell. I challenged them all. None of them took my challenges because what I wrote about the dollar bill and the pictures is true. But it also proves that there is no separation of church or state because they put a picture of the Ark of the Covenant on the back of the dollar bill. So if they put a picture of the holiest icon of the Christian church or the early Judaic philosophy on the back of the dollar bill, it means the government and the Jews and the Christians are in cahoots with one another. And yet the United States government praises itself for being that there's separation of church and state. It's a lie. They've lied to you people about everything. And with that, Dennis, thank you. If you guys want to PayPal me, you can always PayPal me after the show. I have a PayPal button. But okay, that's crazy that the Ark of the Covenant's on the dollar bill. It's on there. So if I made that discovery, and I did, it was me, the only person in the history that's ever written about it, wrote about it, read about it, and then published it as such. That's the most published piece of paper in the entire history of all the known universe. And I made this discovery that the Ark of the Covenant's on there, and they ignored it. Then you got to understand that the powers that be know who I am and ignored me to make me look insignificant or crazy. But nothing that I do, nothing that I ever will do, nothing that I can do will ever make people understand that the Ark of the Covenant's on the dollar bill and what it means. Because everybody that I put out a $50,000 challenge to said, up, we can't do that. We're going to lose, number one. And number two, we are part of the establishment that represents. We didn't see that. Michael Fazio showed us that. Michael Fazio was the first person to see that, even though we are part of the establishment, but we can't talk about that because that is part of it. Okay, you didn't super chat me because I don't have super chat yet, and you didn't PayPal me. That was your last comment that I will read. Amping, you are you're a half of a troll. Don't bust out the troll spray, Dennis. The guy had some legitimate points, but absolutely worthless when it comes to wanting me to do something and talk about his point of your point of view. PayPal, baby, PayPal. And then we'll talk about what you want to talk about. PayPal first, you are second. Boy, you could be number one, baby. You could be number one. You push the right button on PayPal, I'll make you famous. There you go. All right, that's it. 217, baby. Dear old dad died on 217, and we're ending the live stream on 217. I'm being Permy from Michael Fazio in the Philippines, baby.